Dreamed I had a cutting stone.
Hello everybody, I know it's been a while since I've produced any video content, but we're going to try and change that tonight. I posted a little while ago that I'd be doing some video content involving my two airbrushes, my hardware Steenbeck Infinity as well as my Badger Sotar 2020. So we're going to go ahead and do that tonight. I'm going to try and make this quick, 5 or 10 minutes, just a quick sort of compare and contrast between the two and what I found so far. I've only had the Sotar for a couple of weeks, but I've had a little bit of a chance to kind of try it out and sort of put it through its paces and see how I like it. So we'll compare that to the gold standard of what I'm used to, the Harder & Steenbeck Infinity. This is basic. This is originally a 2-in-1 model, so it does have the 0.14 and the 0.15 needle and nozzle combos. I actually have the small color cup in right now. I find that works more than adequate for all of my purposes. I do have a quick disconnect coupler on it, as well as I have the Harder & Steenbeck fine pressure control module on here, which allows you to change the air pressure at your brush by simply, by simply twisting this bit here. You can't see it too well with my hand blocking it, but you can just twist this piece here. Yeah, you can kind of see that, which will increase or decrease the amount of air coming to your brush. Really nifty feature, because then you can also leave the pressure at your compressor at one level, so you don't have to switch. The other thing, so before I get in, I've been using this for a better part of 8.5 years. I got this in October 2009. I bought it used from a friend for about $200. This, for all intents and purposes, is the BMW of regular hobbyist airbrushes. I say BMW because it's German. It's a very fine piece of kit. Very well designed. The ergonomics are spectacular. One thing that has spoiled me over the years, you can see the shape of that trigger, where it's sort of flat at the front and scalloped, is extremely comfortable. I've just become accustomed to that and just absolutely love it. Of course, the two protective ears around the needle here. Right now this does have the 0.4, because this is sort of my bulk use airbrush now, and you can see I've pretty well worn the writing off the side of that thing over years of use. Really great airbrush, brand new. These things are going to run you probably close to $300. So this is the BMW of just regular hobbyist production airbrushes. In addition to this fine pressure control, it comes with a standard feature is a needle limiter that allows you to control just how much paint you can put out. The thing, you can simply twist it to dial it, sort of adjust it will determine how much of a limit you put on the needle. The other thing is simply push button operation. So you just push it in, engages it, and you can adjust it from there if you want to. And you just pull it right out. I mean, literally, I will pull this out with my teeth. Sometimes I'll have both hands busy, so I will literally use my teeth just to pop that out. It's great. I have a Harder & Steenbeck 10-foot braided hose with a quick disconnect end, so hence the quick disconnect. So just as simple as that to disengage your hose. Like I said, I've been using this for a very long time. I really like it, and I'd really like to get another one someday. But the deal for the Badgers back in January was just too good to pass up, so I had to go with that. So I now am the proud owner of a Badger Sotar 2020. This is the 2022F, so it has the fine needle, the 0.2. The fit and finish on this thing is spectacular. Ease of use is very good. Again, it comes with a number of the same features as the Harder & Steenbeck. And again, since this was part of the Happy 54th birthday deal, it didn't come with some of the bonuses that might come with it if you bought it regular. But I was able to get everything I need from my local store here in town. So again, this one does have a needle limiter. The thing I don't like, I mean, it's adjustable in the same way where you just kind of screw it in to adjust the thing, but it doesn't have that quick push button thing. So you actually have to physically screw this in all the way you want it and then screw it back out when you're done with it. I don't like that as much. So points to the Harder & Steenbeck definitely for that one. This one did not come with the little ears that go around the needle, but you can get an added on piece for that. So I might actually do that. I like having that there just to kind of protect the needle a bit. The ergonomics are pretty good. Again, it's a matter of what I'm used to, because I'm so used to the Harder & Steenbeck. I'm used to those ergonomics, so getting used to the Badger is a little bit different. I don't like the feel of the trigger. Like the physical contouring of the trigger I don't like as much as the Harder & Steenbeck. Again, it's what I'm used to. I also tend to use just sort of like, I use like this part of my finger to work my trigger. I've always got it just resting on the front of the trigger, and that's just how I do it. This trigger is, aside from, you know, the contouring of the actual top, it is great. You can find there's just this sweet spot where you can just feather on that paint. So, I mean, just mist it on so beautifully. I feel that, and again, I'm still getting used to this, so I need to figure out the sweet spot with the pressure and the needle limiter. I feel I can get a finer line with the Harder & Steenbeck using the 0.15 needle. And again, it's a 0.15 millimeter versus 0.2. So they're very similar in size, so I should be able to get similar results. But again, I'm not exactly used to it yet. I feel like I can get better air pressure control using the trigger on the Harder & Steenbeck, because I feel like with the Badger, it's just it's all or nothing when you start to press down for air. Again, could just take a little time to get used to it. I had to go out and buy a couple of fittings for this. You can see this is considerably longer than the Harder & Steenbeck in the similar configuration. So if we line these two up, you can see that's where the Harder & Steenbeck ends. This one goes all the way down there. It's not such a big deal, but it's just one of those things. So I actually went out and had to buy a quick disconnect attachment, which I actually have had to put some pipe thread tape on to get to stop some leaks. So this is a Harder & Steenbeck piece right here that fits their quick disconnect hose. This is a Badger quick disconnect that goes into a Badger control valve that I then plug into the hose with a quick disconnect, just like that. So pretty nice. Well, I can just works in the same manner as the Harder & Steenbeck, except there's just a little dial here you can use to control your air pressure. I don't like this as much. It works great. It's just this, it can freely rotate as you're using the brush, and I don't like that. But you know, it is what it is. I tried using, before I bought this, I just bought this about a week or so ago, but I tried using just the airbrush, just the Sotar with just the quick disconnect. Well, I had to keep changing the air pressure at my compressor, which I don't like doing. And I usually leave it fairly high, like 30, 40 PSI, and then I'll adjust it down at the brush, which is a great feature to have. And then when I'd go to switch to the Harder & Steenbeck, I would have to turn the pressure back up, and it's just kind of annoying, constantly have to switch pressures back and forth. So this is becoming more the detail brush, where that's sort of like the workhorse with the larger nozzle. I just got tired of switching needles and nozzles back and forth. But it's really, really good to have one of these, because you can kind of twist, you can adjust the pressure right there at the brush. It's really nice. So at this point, I still very much sort of prefer the Harder & Steenbeck, but I've also been using it for a hell of a lot longer than I've been using this. This is a precision piece of equipment. This is a fantastic airbrush. The price that I paid for it, you know, I got in on the happy 54th birthday deal, so with shipping, I paid $62 for this. You normally don't find these less than $100, $120 online. It's a fantastic airbrush. It's a great piece of kit. I'm sure I'm going to end up loving this thing almost as much as I love the Harder & Steenbeck, but quite frankly, I don't know if I could love any airbrush as much as I love this Harder & Steenbeck. However, like I said, these things brand new run about $300. You can get these brand new for about $100, $120. But again, it's going to take a little bit of getting used to, but it's a great piece of kit. These are both fantastic airbrushes. You can't go wrong with either one, just depending on how much money you want to spend. And again, these are both sort of high-end airbrushes for hobbyists and for model painters. A lot of people get by with the Harbor Freight airbrushes. I used a Pichet VL for a long time. It was a great brush, did a lot of great stuff, but I had the opportunity to upgrade. I actually got my Harder & Steenbeck used. I didn't buy that brand new. Your Patriot 105s, your Renegades, Renegade Chromes, all those, your Iwatas, they're great brushes, but top of the line especially is the Infinity without question. However, the Sotar is an excellent brush. And if you can get a good deal on the combo that comes with multiple needles and nozzles, that's the way to go. Speaking of nozzles real quick, the nozzles on the Sotar are extremely small. I dropped mine on the floor and spent 5 minutes having to look for it. It is that tiny. I don't know how expensive they are to replace. I know the Harder & Steenbeck ones are bigger, They're a little bit more expensive to replace. We're talking about $14, $15, but I've never actually had to buy a new nozzle. I bought a new needle, which was, you know, 14, 15 bucks. Wasn't too bad. But yeah, so this is also American made. So if you want to support American, if you're in the US, you want to support American companies, definitely do this. Badger's a great company. From my personal experience, which isn't a whole lot, this is actually my first Badger airbrush, and I'm happy with it so far. But Harder and Steenbeck is definitely tough to beat for the money. But if you're on a bit more of a budget, the Sotar is definitely an excellent go-to airbrush for fine detail work. So I hope you guys enjoyed my opinions based on my first experiences between the two airbrushes. I doubt it'll help you make any sort of a better informed decision on which airbrush you want to get, but you never know. Talk to some cranky old guy that hides in the basement all the time. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.